What's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. This is episode 445. Marr Burrow smokes, and I really wish that I didn't name this one that early because we could have got a Brian O'Neill reference today on the show, and we're going to talk about that, but it's the Kyle and Kyle show. All your dreams are answered.
Mayor Kyle Smith.
Yeah. Make sure you guys vote for me back there. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good, man. Adam's feeling a little under the weather. You guys send him positive energy and vibes, and hopefully he will feel better after some rest. Hate it when you have aches and pains like he's going through now. So I hope you feel better, man, if you're listening with us. Hey, look, Jake, you were already here like 2 minutes before we were supposed to go on. What's up, Jake Skull? He says football's back. I cracked a beer for this show. Haven't had a beer in a long time.
I'm trying to drink more water, so thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah, I mean, I have that here too, but we'll see which one I finish first. Shouldn't be hard to guess.
I suppose if it's like Miller Lite, it's like the same thing. Water,
dude.
Miller Lite.
So funny you said that. I give my dad so much hell for that. He likes McUltras, and I was like, "Oh, cool, that's cute." It's like water in a beer bottle, and yeah, we got to give him crap for that. But cheers. Because, as Jake says, I'm a few beers myself. Good. We're going to talk about football. This is the last episode without football, minus the bye week, until January. And if the Vikings make the postseason.
We just got an injury report from the Vikings Bengals. We can talk about that, too.
Oh, I didn't get that yet. I'll let you lead off with that then, if you know what it says.
Let me pull it up on my phone instead of my watch, because, Don't want to do that. I'm not 007 here.
Yeah, I'm more like Inspector Gadget, but like the Wish version.
I do like the Apple Watch, but I have to admit it's a little bit being like a Spy Kids movie prop.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I love mine too. I use it for work, for exercise and texting and stuff, but it's another gateway for you to stare at something that you shouldn't stare at all day.
But hey, I got notifications about Vikings football on it. So
nice.
That's what we pay for it. Minnesota Vikings listed 6 players on Wednesday's initial injury report. Linebacker Anthony Barr with a knee, tight end Tyler Conklin with a hamstring, Christian Darashaw with a groin were limited participants. Josh Metalingus, he's a safety. He's got an ankle. Running back Alexander Madison, ribs. Dede Westbrook, he's got a knee. They were full participants. All 6 players took part in individual position drills that were open to media members. So I'm sure Chris Tomlinson took photos of all of them.
Yeah, if you happened to have a funeral yesterday, he would have been there to give you a live play-by-play. What a douche.
Tyler Conklin. Man, it's bad luck with more tight ends continue. Tyler Conklin with the hamstring. Limited in practice. Not a fan of that.
So Trey Waynes is going to be out, which is funny because it's been their revenge game. I would have loved to have seen him against Justin Jefferson. Maybe against Adam Thielen. He's fast, but I don't know. Adam's got really good routes.
This is funny.
Okay.
This also has listed the Bengals injury report coming up. Stop me, Vikings fans, if you've heard this one before. Trey Waynes is listed for the Cincinnati Bengals as did not participate with a hamstring injury.
Oh, yeah. You can hear me still, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just saying that. I was like, I really would have liked to have seen him against Jefferson, but I don't know, man. I don't know if he would have shadowed Adam Thielen. Who knows? That would have been cool. What's up, Jonathan?
We talk about Eli Apple on Justin Jefferson.
We were just talking about that as the show came on. Kyle and I were talking about a bunch of random stuff. And we're like, we laugh because Eli Apple's been owned by Adam Thielen like every time he's played him. And
Eli Apple sucks in general.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. Like it shows you who he reminds me of? He gets burnt in coverage a lot, but you know who kept a job forever as a corner? And I just remember Adrian. Well, not on the Vikings. That's a good. I know where you were going with that, and that's a good reference. I'm thinking of just a corner that I just saw getting either beat every time or like Adrian Peterson just stiff arming him into another dimension. Vernon Hargreaves. Jesus, man. I've seen that guy get torched quite a few times. And there was another guy, Chris Conte. He played with the Bears, the Buccaneers. Dude, Adrian Peterson just embarrassed the shit out of him, but he played for like 10 years. So you don't have to be the best corner in the world, but you can still get paid.
Yeah.
For any 10-year-olds out
I'm
there
trying to remember. There's a couple of my favorite Adrian Peterson plays. Was the one I think I know the one you're talking about. It was against the Browns, right? Where he just stiff-armed the guy.
He stopped running completely, stiff-armed a guy, and then still ended up scoring because he's a man-child horse playing running back.
And then there was the one against the Steelers where I think it was the safety.
Oh, William Gay. Yeah, he just absolutely obliterated him. Yeah.
Where Adrian just lowered his helmet and put in the most hellacious hit I've ever seen a running back. And he just trucked him into oblivion.
That's so funny. Shout out to AP. I hope he finds his way on a team at least one more year. He needs the money. We know that, but I figured he would have gave the Ravens a call. They ended up signing Le'Veon Bell with their running back injuries.
I would have went with Latavius Murray. But
yeah, 100%. He'll wind up somewhere else.
Latavius. The Saints did him dirty, which no surprise considering that shithole organization. They cut him. They cut him like an hour. Dude, did you hear that? They cut him like an hour before his contract was due.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all, man.
Like, I hate.
And I'll give them credit where credit's due. They've been a consistently good football team, like wins and losses wise. Sean Payton's a phenomenal coach, like smart with the game, but stuff that comes out of there just feels dirty and stinky and not in a fun, cool, like hipster way. Like, no, it's shit like that you get really upset about.
You couldn't have cut Latavius, 2-3 weeks ago when teams were still trying to figure out their depth chart. You got to wait a couple days before game day and like an hour before the dude's bonus is set to kick in to release him. Like,
he's a dependable guy too. Yeah. When he and Jarek were doing the 1-2 punch that 2017 season,
that was a good combo.
You had the shifty, speedy guy who could catch really good, and you had the downhill guy, and I really liked him. He had a really good sound clip too. I forget who it was. He said some linebacker hit him pretty hard out of the room, or a safety, and he said that guy snatched my soul out of my body. Now, you usually hear about the running backs putting the hurt on people, but he's like, no, that guy laid me out pretty good.
That's what's going to happen when Justin Jefferson goes against Eli Apple. I can't take credit for this joke, but someone on Twitter said that Justin Jefferson's going to commit war crimes against Eli Apple.
Good God. Just unspeakable acts. Yeah, it depends on who gets shadowed. I don't even know their depth chart unofficially. Let me look up the Vikings depth chart so we can talk about that here in a second.
Yeah.
But I don't know who the opposite starter of Eli Apple is going to be. We'll have to look that up. Oh, this came out the other day, I believe. This is on CBS Sports, so I'm not sure how close this is. This looks like the final 53. Yeah, this isn't correct. Yeah, no, this is correct. I was looking down. It's weird how they have this laid out. I love that they don't have a third quarterback, even though they have Sean Mannion on the practice squad for COVID reasons. Mm-hmm. But the thing that jumped out,
smart the way they're doing that. You can protect 2 players on your practice squad so that other teams can't poach them. And so he was one, and the running back, Amir Abdullah, was the other one that the Vikings protected. So that's cool. That's a couple bonus roster spots that they can keep on. I like that.
I like it too. I like the fact that they're starting this with a practice squad. Now, if they can just shift this to game day where everyone can be dressed, it makes no sense to have that many people and not have them ready to go. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I've been saying that for years. I'm going to call one of these days, I'm going to call into the Pat McAfee show and ask him that question and be like, when is the NFL going to catch up with 2021 here and just allow all 53 players to dress on game day? Because I really believe that would allow for more specialized players to make a roster spot. You look at a fringe guy who might be a good gadget player, a good return guy, but still needs to grow in the, receiver or running back position. The only way they're going to get better is with reps on the field. And if you're not allowing them to dress on game day, then you can't get reps on the field. And guess what? You know what makes college football fun? you can have a fucking boatload of people on your roster, and you can find room for those guys to let them make plays. NFL, can we do that?
I'm just cheering you on in the background because basically the NFL, college grooms you for the NFL, but the funny part about that is it's backwards. The NFL is adjusting so much to look like college. It's going to look the same. And eventually, like the NBA, you're not even going to need college. People are just going to get drafted after like 1 year, and they're just be like, hey, see you later. It's going to happen eventually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. There's going to be an emergency situation more than once in one season somewhere in the future where they're going to change this rule. Some star player at a key position is going to go down. They're not going to have shit for depth, and they're going to be like.
I would have thought last year when, what was that? Denver that had to start the wide receiver at quarterback.
Yeah, good call. That's a great reference.
But if the NFL didn't give a shit then
if it's not Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes, they're not going to care. Yeah. They don't care.
We got to wait, and I don't mean this the way it's going to come out, but we got to wait for, like you said, for like Patrick Mahomes to be in a primetime Monday Night Football game out with COVID. Oh, right. Then suddenly we're going to change rules for it. Yeah. I don't want that to happen at all.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see any of the star guys, especially quarterbacks, have like weird long-term injury stuff. But we get the point is, they could be doing this. And if we're thinking this as just fans, that they're probably hanging on to some weird logic because you're going to pay these guys regardless, right? So unless they're suspended.
And we can talk about what we're actually going to talk about here in just a second. I looked it up one time. The rule dates back to like the way early days of the NFL, where it was believed that bigger market teams like the Dallas Cowboys would have more of a competitive advantage because they would attract more talent than smaller market teams.
Right.
Therefore, we're going to restrict the number of players that you can have active on game day. Well, with free agency, and as quick as you turn a roster around, that don't matter anymore.
Look at the Bucks, man. I mean, you're a quarterback and 2 or 3 players away from basically a title. Not even a contender, like a title.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, I'm gonna shut my camera slide for like 3 seconds so I can move something around and get this fan on me. I don't know why it's so hot in here, but I'll let you take over and we'll get started on the actual topics today.
Yeah. This is what happens when it gets left to just us two. We will ramble for like the first 15 minutes about absolutely nothing that we have planned. So I hope you guys are excited and ready for Vikings football on this Sunday. I sure know I am.
I'm so pumped about this game Sunday. Yeah. We're going to do game predictions at the end just to kind of lead off with that. But we, like Kyle said, we should all be excited because this is the last weekend without football. This is a cool season because you get an extra game. This is a 17-week season, or 17-game season, and this is how it'll be going forward. And
right,
I think the Vikings have a very favorable opening 2 games. Now, I do think it gets progressively harder, and
that's what she said.
That is what she said. Thank you for saying that. I know it's going to be a challenging year. The good thing that I like going into this game is all of the experts are completely writing this team off. There's not one expert out there from Good Morning Football to Colin Cowherd. They're saying they're going to be improved, but they're not saying that they're going to be a playoff team. And with it being a 7-team playoff in now, I don't understand how that's not possible. The NFL is competitive. Anybody can win on any given Sunday. Look at my survival league pick last year. I picked somebody to beat the I think it was the Jags and the Titans. I was like, oh, they have Derrick Henry. They'll win. The fucking Jags beat the Titans last year to start.
Yeah.
And I started out 0-1. Anything can happen, but I like the odds against that offensive line for Cincy. I don't like that for them at all. Not at all. Their wide receivers kind of scare me a little bit. If this secondary is not as good as we thought, they have the firepower and they have a really good quarterback. Don't get it twisted. He got hurt. And Joe Burrow's really good.
I've heard that Chase, the wide receiver they drafted, has been looking kind of iffy.
He's been looking very terrible. Shout out to my boss at work, Doug. I'm going to say it, too, because I told him I'd give him a shout-out today. I don't even know if he'll watch this, but he says every week leading up to this game 1, as a joke, he comes in, he's like, you ready for that Cincinnati buzzsaw? Those Vikings are going to run straight into the buzzsaw. It's coming up. And he kicked the door in today at work. Like, he was training with some other guys. Saw him right when I was leaving. He's like, Sunday, buzzsaw. I was just dying the presentation of that. But yeah, I've heard from him. He's been like my little Bengals insider. He said Jamar Chase has been dropping balls a lot, and he's been looking pretty iffy over the middle. He doesn't want to get hit, and he just doesn't look like a 6th or whatever overall, 5th overall pick at all yet. So
little Laquan Treadwell there, it sounds like.
We'll see what he turns into. I don't like that matchup of him and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd against what I consider to be older corners. I don't think they're bad, but if we're going speed for speed, I hope their Vikings are not going to do a lot of man coverage because Patrick Peterson's going to get burned, and I don't want to see Bashad Breeland get bullied either. Like, Tyreek Hill is an animal, and he's an alien, right? But that Kansas City touchdown wasn't even close to being competitive, and he was gone.
Yeah.
And that's his former teammate. Like, dude, you know this guy. You played against him. That was a little concerning, but I like the Vikings' chances in this game because that defensive line is going to be nasty. You're not going to run the ball like you did last year against the Vikings, and you're going to have 3 of the core pieces that I love and in top form ready to go. And then the X factor being DJ Wanham. We were talking about the depth chart earlier. He's been named the starter opposite of Danielle Hunter, which I thought was interesting.
Jonathan brings up a good point there in the chat about Clint Kubiak as the unproven OC. The playbook, from what I've heard from Adam Thielen in his press conference, the playbook hasn't really changed from last year to this year. Same terminology, which you would expect. They've probably made some tweaks, to use the terminology from Mike Zimmer, the old tweaks to the playbook.
Let's never say that word again.
I'm sure they've added and subtracted to it. You always got to add new stuff every year to your playbook. But yes, him being unproven as a play caller, I'm curious to see how he handles game time situations. I personally think that one of the fair criticisms of Mike Zimmer and this Vikings team over the years has been clock management and calling plays either offense or defensively in crucial situations. They've kind of had issues doing that. When they're able to script out, script your first 15 or whatever, they've usually been pretty good. And when they're going by the playbook, like, hey, we go pretty good when we get up, it's when the chips get down and they have to improv that this team always seems to have issues. On the offensive side, part of me wonders too, I don't think Kirk Cousins is a great improv quarterback. He's not a Brett Favre. Didn't matter what the play was called. Like when
that's so unfair to Kirk. I love that reference. It's nobody's going to be Brett, but you're right. But, I mean, you're not wrong for saying that. All right, Jake says this team scares them year in and year out. At this point, 3-14 or like 11-6, 12-5 is not surprising me either way. They have too much talent to only win 3 games, and there's plenty of winnable games. The thing that pisses me off, it's rant time. You've unlocked the rant of the day. Congratulations, Jake. The thing that pisses me off about this team and this head coach in general is the mediocrity that they just seem to fall in no matter what. They can't overcome adversity like they say they want to or say they have. That's what pisses me off. I see another 8-9 season, and it bothers me. And you know what sucks? I think there's going to be close games, and I want them to overcome that. That's the thing that makes me the most mad. I'm gonna let you jump in though, because I'll go on for 5 minutes.
I think this team is going to do better than what a lot of people are kind of predicting. Of course, we're as Vikings fans, we all seem to always prepare for the worst because the roof of the Metrodome falls in because hey, that's what happens to us here in Minnesota. I do think, and when we go over the depth chart, you look at it and you go, they've improved on paper in some really key positions.
Yeah.
I just think that you look at defensively, guys we've got back from Danielle Hunter, back from injury, to guys who have come back to the team, from Shelton Richardson to Everson Griffin, Mackenzie Alexander, bringing in Patrick Peterson. I think you look at this defense and you go, this defense has a chance to be really good. Mike Zimmer brought up a fair point about we're going to have to rely on some young guys to step up and play well. But I'm not. I really don't think a 3-win team like we're not gonna. That would take a really big collapse for this team to play that poorly.
And to Jake's point, and to your point here too, if this team even comes close to that, Mike Zimmer's gone. I really truly believe
gone.
it. Yeah, they're gonna get fired, and I don't want to see that happen. Part of me does, and I know that's really shitty to say because I want to. I think we kind of know what Mike Zimmer is at this point, which I love him. I love the guy. I'm not saying this in the point to where I'm saying like I hate him and I can't wait for him to leave. I haven't seen outside of a fluke season with a really good OC. This team might win a playoff game, but when it comes to real competition, they never beat him, and it's really frustrating. But
I still believe a lot in Mike Zimmer. I think he's a hell of a head coach, particularly a defensive coach. I do have my criticisms of him, although I am less of a fan of Rick Spielman as the general manager. I think that he's hit some really good picks for this team, but they have to stop doing this shit. What was that year that we had like 15 picks and they're all like 7-round, late round? Like we're just, it feels too much like we're just throwing darts at a dartboard. I would really like to see them go after a handful of talented guys who are going to make the roster instead of all of these mid to late round picks anyway.
Yeah. And when I say that, guys, I know some people listen to that and take it the wrong way. I've never said anything outside of an emotional loss here or there bad about Mike Zimmer. I love the old school mentality, the toughness that he brings. I think he's outdated. I think the defense will do a lot of good things. And, say that you look at the Super Bowl, like this is a defensive showing, but also a lot of things in recent year have been Patriots coming back from 28-3. That's the offense. The Kansas City Chiefs winning a couple years later. They were down whatever. They came back because of one guy. And a really good block and shitty tackling led to a rush. But I digress. This is becoming more of an offensive league. And, yeah, to your point about Rick Spielman too, man, like I had nothing negative to say about Kirk. I think he's a great dude. I think he's the prototypical, not going to cause any drama. He's smart. He doesn't get injured. I see why they did the move. It makes sense. But he's not going to take you anywhere near the promised land. And it bothers me because I want to see the Vikings go out, like put all their chips in, like a Joe Burrow. If the Vikings were close to that, I want to see them go after a dude that's like a generational talent. And I'm going down the rabbit hole here, but we talked about these wins and losses, man. I have a really terrible feeling about this year, and I don't want that to be it. I don't want us to get our hopes up with all these signings, and then it just completely doo-doo the bed, I guess. But
my hopes are pretty high. I'm honestly, and of course, this is always we're right before the start of the season.
Yeah,
you get pumped about this team. I think we're a playoff team. I think that this defense can carry this Vikings into the playoffs. I expect big things from Justin Jefferson this year in year number 2. I think Adam Thielen is going to continue to be great and do good things.
The dude had 14 touchdowns last year, and it's not talked about. He's phenomenal.
I really do feel like they put some good pieces in place at the wide receiver 3. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks being without Irv Smith, but okay, we'll survive.
Right.
We can survive that. Dalvin Cook is still a stud.
Yeah, he's in his prime. I love Dalvin.
The
thing that brought this up that I wanted to say, though, was, like we're talking about Clint being an unproven OC. Jonathan said that earlier. His comment's up on the screen now. We'll get to that in a second. But I don't have any doubt about this team near the red zone. I don't. It's getting to the red zone that bothers me. It's putting together those drives because I saw them do a lot of 3-and-outs last year. But they had a really good offense because they had these really big, like, bomb plays, at least 1 or 2 a game where you're like, holy shit, that's like 3 plays and we're in the red zone. That's cool. Yeah. I'd like to see a little more consistency there, but I don't have a problem with this team and targets in the red zone.
And that is where we need to improve in play calling.
Yeah.
That is a criticism of this team that you can make where you have some firepower on the outside. And He can run it up the middle. Run it up the middle.
Here's the wide zone to the left.
Throw a bubble screen, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Justin Jefferson gets 5 yards, and then we're still short, and we have to punt the ball.
Jonathan says, get to the red zone with shock and awe. That's what I want, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the shock and awe, because there was some.
You know what I want to see, speaking of shock and awe? Just once, can we have flea flicker? Can we just have Dalvin Cook just pitch that ball back to Kirk? Just
with play action, I don't know how that's not been a thing they haven't tried in the last couple of years.
Kirk just bomb it down the field to Jefferson. Can we just do that?
Think about that throw in overtime in this a couple years ago against the Saints that got him to the red zone. He can throw the ball 50 yards. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that maybe once when you're up a score and you need to put it away. That'd be cool.
That was one of my favorite plays from Randall Cunningham back in the day, was when they would do that with Moss. That flea flicker from Cunningham to Moss, where he just absolutely just bombs it down the field. Woo!
It's funny you mentioned that duo, because I was watching something about teams that didn't make the Super Bowl that should have, and top 10, two Viking teams were on there.
Yeah.
The 09 Vikings and then the 98 Vikings were the number one team. You're like, dude, how did that team not make the Super Bowl? Them against the Broncos that year would have been phenomenal.
That 98 team scored so frequently and so easily.
It was unfair.
They didn't even look like they were trying on offense. It was that easy for them to score. They were playing backyard football while everyone else was. They were just that was crazy.
Jake, I'm going to improvise your comment. I know we've dropped bombs on here already, but I'll keep that to PG. But he says, don't be scared to put your what on the table every once in a while. If we lose trying, we lose trying, damn it.
Yeah.
You say that now, but if we lost by 1 point or a field goal because of something like that, we'd all be going out of our way to be like, fire Zimmer now. I could hear the Twitterverse after that, but I get what you're saying. You want to be aggressive, kind of always. I'd like to see that more. Speaking of aggressive, guys, we have the second highest paid right tackle in the league now. Shout out to Brian O'Neill today. Round of applause for that guy. Good for you, man. I'm shouting out my future ex-wife here, Courtney Cronin. If you're out there, I love you. Brian O'Neill signs a 5-year extension for the Vikings worth $92.5 million. Whew. So $49 million guaranteed. That over 5 years puts him just under $10 million a year. That's a good tag. That's good for both the team and for him to get that much money from being an O-lineman. He's going to spend the bulk of his prime as a Viking, and I'm very pumped about that. Oh, wow, I was wrong on that. Sorry, I should look down a little bit. The second highest average salary, $18.5 million, but only 49 guaranteed. So I'm sure there's some incentives in there and all that fun stuff. But we were talking about this in the offseason because they got Harry done a week or two ago. We were like, hey, I wonder when Brian O'Neill's going to get done. So now you don't have to worry about it.
What's his guarantee?
$49 million.
That
out of $92.5. It's only half of it guaranteed.
That is $49 million $1 tacos from Taco Bell.
That's a lot.
You know how many tacos? That's a lot of tacos.
Kyle just didn't even realize he made a Family Guy reference just now, but that's the best thing I've ever heard. It's like 6,000 chicken vaginas, please. Oh man, what a reference! Yeah, we got great protection. He's such a good right tackle, man, and you got to shore the lineup for whoever's playing quarterback.
Got to get Christian out there, not Ponder, but Darashaw. You got to get him out there on the field healthy.
For all you guys that were like, oh, Ponder's back, for the -3 people that were thinking that, thank you for clarifying, Kyle West. We get a Ponder reference in at least once a month on this show. Oh, hey, he's winning at life. It doesn't matter how much he made; he's winning at life.
Right.
Oh, it's funny.
I remember the one time we got to tour US Bank Stadium before it opened up, and so we were down there in the middle of the field, standing on the Vikings logo. And this is me and my friend Mike both made the same comment at the same time. Like, you're looking up at just how big it is and how many people fit in the stadium. And it's like, no wonder Christian Ponder shits himself. This fucking be terrifying to play in front of this many people. Anyway, no, we got to get Darashaw out there on the field for this team. I was really excited when the Vikings drafted him to have that big prospect at left tackle, and seeing him miss so much time and hardly practice, and then potentially just throwing him out there in a game.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I hope it's not Matt Khalil all over again. Jesus, man. I know he wasn't drafted as high as Matt Khalil, but I'm going to be pissed if he comes out and rocks it and he just turns out to be shitty.
Well, he seems to have a better attitude than Matt Khalil. That was a big part of Matt Khalil's problem, was his attitude, how he approached things. He was a piece of shit. And I'm not afraid to say Matt Khalil was a piece of shit.
Yes, there it is. So he's tied for 26. Brian O'Neill will wrap this talk up because I'm not paying for Pro Football Focus stuff. If you guys wanted to fund the page and do that, we'll take it. But I'm not paying for stats on here. I'll just look it up. Tied for 26th in the league for only 3 sacks allowed last season, which that's not terrible. Overall grade is in the green at 78. So if you're at an 80 or above for PFF, that means you're a starter in the league. And he is. The offensive line was just horseshit last year, and I'm going to take some of that blame and give him about 4 or 5 more points on his PFF grade, thanks to the putrid guard play, especially at right guard, right beside where he's at. He's a solid tackle, and you got to lock him up. And I think this is a smart move by the organization, and I know Kirk is happy with it.
Dude, so we got to get some stability.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest complaint about this general manager since he became that, is not finding, I don't want to say Hall of Fame level, but you need franchise offensive linemen, because even if you don't make the Super Bowl, like the Cowboys have had a great line on the last couple of years, when you have a good line, like New England always has a good line, they're always there.
Yeah.
The Philly year, when Philly won, that offensive line was stupid good. And look what the Chiefs did in the offseason. Oh, we have a $500 million quarterback. Well, we're going to go get a brand new offensive line and protect our shiny toy. Like,
even if you stick a mediocre quarterback on Dak Prescott behind a good offensive line,
wow,
it makes them look better. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that with our mediocre quarterback and Kirk Cousins.
That's funny. Okay, I was going to ask you that. If you thought that he was just like terrible and Kirk was better, I'll be the first one on the show to say it. They're close. I would take Dak just for the mobility, but he kind of, I mean, to your point, man, I'm proving myself wrong by saying that Kirk's been on the field more. It's a good point there.
Kirk stays healthy.
He does. So shout out to Brian O'Neill. We just wanted to hit on that. That happened today. I would have named the episode after him, but this is talking about Joe Burrow and previewing the Cincinnati game. So we're already a half hour in. We kind of hit on it, man. No revenge tour for Trey Waynes. He's not going to be playing. Revenge tour, ? For Mackenzie Alexander. He did have a decent year last year. I love that he's back with the team. That's fantastic. The only thing I worry about is that if they can get cooking on offense, man, they do have some talented skill players and a really good quarterback. All things are go for Joe Burrow to play, which is crazy. Another speedy ACL recovery.
Joe Burrow could be in one of those players in the running for NFL Comeback Player of the Year. So.
Absolutely. I think Danielle Hunter will get thrown away in the wash because he's a defensive player, but guys like Joe Burrow and Christian McCaffrey, they'll top the list. I know there's another pass rusher that's coming back.
Riley Reef Revenge Tour. There you go.
That's a good one. Good point, Jake. That's funny. He's about the only one on that offensive line worth a shit, too. I don't know. I know my dude at work, Doug, says he's really pissed. He's like, I don't think Jamar Chase can put on 200 pounds of blocks, so I don't really know why we took him in the draft. Oh, man.
I get it, but you always want weapons. And it's here nor there whether or not that weapon is currently working. Beside the point, you don't know that on draft day. But, man, when you have a generational quarterback in Joe Burrow, and he has all that talent in the world, like you said, Smith, invest in a line to keep him healthy and keep him upright.
you got to think with the way wide receivers in the first round are so hit or miss. I don't know why they wouldn't go after Penei Sewell. And he's in the division now. He plays for Detroit, so he's going to be very good for a while. You can find they have one on their team. Was it T. Higgins? You can find the Henry Ruggs of the draft. Stephon Diggs was the 5th round. Adam Thielen's undrafted. Michael Thomas, a guy like that, was in the 2nd round. I mean, just turn those picks around. Take the big Samoan guy that'll block a freaking house for your quarterback. Go find a pass catcher in the 2nd round. There's bound to be guys fall, but I mean, if that's what you see, you want to reunite. I'm sure Joe Burrow was in that management's ear like, hey, we want a title together. You should probably draft this guy. You get it. Yeah, I mean,
if it doesn't work out, maybe we can trade for Joe Burrow.
There you go. Dude, Burrow's looking to get killed out there, Jake says. I don't want him to get hurt because I don't wish that on anyone, and these guys make as much money as you possibly can. But, yeah, I want him running for his life out there. I do.
Right on.
I do. I want and you know what? I want Danielle Hunter to eat. I want DJ Wanham to get a sack. But I want the big boys in the middle to just throw offensive linemen right in his face.
Oh,
that's what I want to see.
Yeah. I want to see Everson get out there and get it.
Oh, he'll be out. I can't wait to watch him.
Yeah.
I think and I'm going to be watching Cook. I'm going to pick 1 or 2 players the entire game to just hone in on. I'm looking at the pass rushers, and Dalvin Cook is who I'm going to be focused in on for the whole game. I just want to see how they look. But I'm excited to see Everson come out on a 3rd down and just go nuts.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for, what's the other receiver? Amir Smith.
Amir Smith-Marset. Yeah.
Marset. Yeah. I'm excited to see how they use him as well, too.
He's going to be the punt returner. That was named. KJ Osborne's the kick returner. He's going to be our punt returner. I'm very excited for him for that. Remember in 2011, we could have had Dalton. Yeah, Dalton would have been the best pick over Ponder. That would have been a better choice. But
I know we're team touchback, but it's a long season.
Adam is shaking his fist at the TV right now.
I know we're team touchback, but it's a long season. All that I'm saying is, let's see who can flash on special teams. Let's return some shit.
Speaking of flash, I miss Cordero Patterson.
Where is he? Is he still in Chicago?
He's in Atlanta.
Atlanta? No kidding.
That's we got to put some respect on his name. That's Super Bowl champion Cordero Patterson.
I like Cordero Patterson. I'm a fan of Cordero Patterson.
I like him for veteran minimum deals, but yeah, I like him a lot. And he's listed as a running back now. It's
not his fault that Rick Spielman overdrafted him.
Yeah,
made him a first round talent. And he came into Minnesota wearing number 84, which did not help his case. Expectations skyrocket.
Oh, cool. Yahoo Fantasy, Adam Thielen's status improved from questionable to healthy. So it looks like everybody's getting their designations now. That's cool. What was I going to look up for Cordero Patterson? I think he went to Tennessee here. I'm pretty positive that he did. Played college football at Tennessee.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
He was a volunteer, man, right here in the state I'm in. That's pretty cool. Shout out to old CP84, a.k.a. Flash. His stuff's hanging up in Canton right now for the longest touchdown return. 109 yards. I still remember that game. They were in those guys, solid all-purple uniforms that night. That was fun.
Oh, bring those back.
Bring those and bring the throwbacks. I'm tired of asking. We ask every year and you ignore us.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Patterson, there's a prime example of a player that can have a longer NFL career if you don't restrict your roster to however many you have to dress on game day. If you let all 53 players dress, there's always room for a Cordero Patterson on your team, right?
Jake says bring back the 09s back. Yes, 100% of that. And yes, to your point. Yeah. No, those were the throwback unis.
Oh, you're talking about I thought you were talking about just the 2000s era. Like the Ponder era, but I'm not a fan of those. I'm not a fan of those were too cartoonish for me. I'm not a fan of the new ones now with the little pointed letters though. They look a little Batmanish to me. I don't like it. I miss those Brett Favre retro jerseys. Those were sweet. Oof. Yeah, the retro ones. I thought you guys were talking about the
oh God, no! I know what you're talking about right now. There were the Reebok ones.
Yeah, the Reebok, the Antoine Winfield era. That's what I always think of when I think of them. They were like a palette swap of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Where it was like the same jersey, only just a different color scheme.
Not a fan of those. Jake wants to know what our thoughts on Jordan Berry, the new punter that we got from Pittsburgh, and our ever revolving special teams unit. That's going to be the bane of this
Dumpster
team,
fire.
And it's going to be the Achilles heel. If they're not good, this team's going to lose games like they could have won last year. Remember when we could have beat the Super Bowl champions in Tampa Bay, and we lost because the kicker made 0 field goals? Mike Zimmer did say about Colquitt, though, he's like, I have nothing against the guy. He's like, we found a punter that we thought could do better. And that, I respect you for going out and getting a punter you think has more hang time and more distance. Like, that's called being a businessman in this league. But I'm not sure about this kicker, dude. This kicker sucks. He hasn't made anything over 50. And, I mean, that's cool that you got a punter that if you have to punt at the 50-yard line, he'll probably nail it in between the 10. But I don't like Greg Joseph's chances for staying on the team this year. I don't. And there were some quality kickers that got released. Eddie Pinheiro, I believe, was one of them, but he got scooped up. They got to find this kicker situation and correct it. And the fact that Daniel Carlson is still out there just booming it for the Raiders, that gets under my skin a little bit.
I sent you a photo. If you can throw that up on the screen here.
Okay.
No, you're right. I hope they hit home. I don't really know anything about this Jordan Berry, but I hope that they made the right decision, because I hate when you mess with the special teams this close to the regular season. Like, that's a unit that gets better based on repetition and those 3 specialists working together. And I just don't like changing it out this close to the season. Because now you've got guys who, instead of learning during training camp and preseason, now they're learning during regular season games when it counts. And
right, and it's a little close to the season to be getting chemistry, learning how to hold for each other, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if this game comes down to a field goal, which right now the line is the Vikings -3 is the favorite, but I think this game's going to be close, man. I really do. We'll talk about it in just a second. We were talking about the Jake says, bring back the 09s, please. Well, guess what, sir? You were talking about these, and those are it.
Those are
the best
fantastic
Viking uniforms of all time. And, you know, I have a John Randall sitting over here. That era, the late 90s, was cool, but this throwback is so good. And the tint of purple on that helmet right there.
That helmet is so much better
than our
current helmet.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you got to do it for the whole season, right? I get it. You're probably not going to do it, but I mean, I would love that. Personally, I would want that. But, you know, I would like let's get that out of there. I didn't know that was still sharing. I really wish that they would just do like Green Bay does it once a year. They bring back those old disgusting brown ones, right? Like every couple of years, the Steelers bring back the Bumblebee uniforms. Include those in a special game for the season and make it a division game too at home.
Yeah.
Once a year against the Packers, against the Bears, even for the Lions one year, just like, hey, look, we're doing these throwbacks because they're fantastic and people love them. I know I've seen it on Twitter more than just me and Kyle West atting the Vikings every year. It's like, hey, remember us? We put all our time and effort and money to your team. Could you do this for us?
This is one thing the NFL could learn from college football again, too. I think it's cool the way college football can have all these different colored uniforms, alternative jerseys, cool color schemes. Like, could we get the black and gold Vikings home uniforms that people
I'd be down for it for a game.
Like, I mean, come on, do you know how many different jerseys I would buy if we had like a black and gold Vikings jersey? Hell yeah. Give me one of those. Give me a black and gold Patrick Peterson. I'll buy that.
Well, it's irritating because you'll see them do it for like the year that we beat the Saints in the playoffs. I think we were in all purple and they were in all white. That was awesome. I thought it was kind of crazy that the home team was all white and not all black, but
like
that would have been super. That would have been super cool to do that at any point earlier in the year. So, like every other year, they do like the color rush thing, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, the uniforms could be better, and I think that people have given their opinions on the internet. I think they just don't care and they're not looking.
Yeah.
2022 will have a new helmet rule.
That's
Jake
right.
says that maybe throwback. What's the helmet rule? I'm not familiar with this. You guys know? Can you fill me in?
Yeah, it used to. You couldn't change your helmet at all throughout the year, like the design of it. And I think they relaxed the rules that are going to allow, like, if the Vikings wanted to wear the one from the 09 era that we just had up on the screen, I think they can wear that style.
Oh, like the artistry of it, not the physical design. Oh, no, that's cool. That's sick. Yeah. The graphics or whatever. Okay.
Which I think is part of the reason why the Vikings have not worn throwback uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. That wouldn't really go well with their current situation. At least it's uniform now. Like, it matches, but whatever. Well, we're 45 minutes into the show, and we have talked about pretty much nothing. We talked about Brian O'Neill. We talked about the depth chart, but I think we're going to round the show out since there's only two of us before we start rambling about dumb, incoherent stuff. And just give our thoughts on this game. Yeah, we definitely were before the show, and now we're going to start having it leak through. Yeah, let's just give our thoughts for the games. If you guys want to give us a score prediction, Jonathan or Jake in the chat, and you want to tell us, or if anybody else is watching and you want to comment real quick, tell us your thoughts on how the game's going to go and maybe a final score.
Justin Jefferson committing war crimes against Eli Apple.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
I looked it up.
War crimes.
War crimes. The single game receiving yardage is, what was it, 300 and some? Can he break that? Probably not.
Probably not, but it wouldn't surprise me with like two big bombs in a game where he has 6 catches for like 190 yards, and you're like, what? Oh, okay, cool.
We need special teams to mess up like 3 times in a row and get us on the 1 yard line so we can do the Gus Barat to Bernard Berrien. There's a reference for you. Where we throw it deep on the 1 yard line, and Bernard Berrien,
and then down the seam on the left side, somebody just takes off for 100 yards
like
touchdown.
A 99-yard touchdown run. We need Jefferson to do that like 3 times.
That'd be awesome.
Eli Apple, then he can set the record.
For those that are just chilling on YouTube, or maybe like I do, listening in the car, going to wherever, Jonathan Maella says defensive stalemate. God, I hope not. I want a thrilling game like that Florida State Notre Dame game Monday night. Man, that was one of the best college football games I've ever watched. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you lived in that moment. They had a backup quarterback come in that was from Central Florida. He had like reconstructive surgery on his foot. They said he wouldn't even walk again, and he comes in, throws a fucking laser, and gets the team back in it. And they ended up losing in overtime because the kicker missed a field goal. But he rallied the troops and got him back and got him the scored side. It was awesome. I hope it's one of those games. Jonathan, you're probably right, though. It'll probably be some kind of like 24-21, like super slow game. Jake says he predicts the Vikings to win 27-17. That's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to take the Vikings 30 and the Bengals 24. I don't know. I just really hope this defense comes in and just wreaks havoc, because if that happens, the offense will do their thing eventually. You got to think, this preseason has been all about, there's not been an offensive touchdown. Yeah, your 3 best players on that side of the ball didn't play at all. So I look for them to do their thing, and I think the defense shows up in a big way.
This defense is going to eat, particularly this defensive line. Danielle Hunter is going to go to town. Everson Griffin, our big boys up the middle. They're going to wreak havoc. They're going to wreak havoc. They're going to hit Joe Burrow. That ball's going to come out. So it's going to be a scoop and score situation for sure. Yeah.
Kyle West predicts a defensive touchdown by the Vikings on the first week. Mm-hmm. I like that, sir.
Danielle Hunter. I'm calling Danielle Hunter off the edge. He's going to hit him. Ball's going to come out. Someone's going to scoop and score.
God, I hope it's one of the fat boys.
Yeah.
Remember that happened a couple years ago, like right after Philly just completely annihilated us in the NFC Championship game. Kirk's first game against the Eagles, and we're all like, I had such a bitter taste in my mouth. I was like, man, fuck this team. And Kirk's like, yeah, dude, I play with these guys in the division forever. Like, I got their number. And then Carson Wentz ends up throwing an interception, and Linval Joseph runs it back.
I was gonna say, was that the play with Linval on the sidelines with the oxygen
and
mask?
yeah, he's got oxygen on.
Oh man, I
want to
Linval
see
so
Michael
much.
Pierce run it to the end zone. Yeah, Jake, you know what's up. You know what game we're talking about. God, that was so good.
Yeah, who's the bigger of the two inside guys? Is it Pierce or?
I think it's Tomlinson. Man, he's humongous. Let me see the weight on these guys.
They're both big individuals. Either of those two. Yeah, I want one of those two guys to scoop and score.
I think it's him. Dalvin Tomlinson, 6'3", 318 pounds. Good God. Michael Pierce. Okay, just kidding. 6'0", 340.
340.
Good
that's
Lord.
right. Because you look at him, 340 was on a salad day. Like you get him.
A salad day.
Yeah.
There's a good photo of them. I think it might have been on the Vikings Twitter somewhere. Or the Instagram real quick.
I'm excited, man. Williams Wall 2.0. They're in the middle with those two big boys.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's what Jake says in the chat too. Williams.
Wow. Okay, I got on Instagram to see if I could find that. It's not on the Vikings official page. Chris Sims comes in with the hot take. First of all, he says the Vikings aren't a playoff team, but the Sam Darnold Panthers are going to go to the playoffs. Dude, you're high. You're so high. Guess who he has playing in the Super Bowl from each conference, and guess who he has winning. You guys will never guess.
Who did the Panthers have other than Christian McCaffrey?
They got decent receivers. They have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. They both had 1,000 last year, I think, but I don't know, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they got potential, but
anybody want to take a guess of this before we get off here? This is the craziest thing that I cannot believe he said. And he has them as not a number one seed coming through on either side.
I don't know who. Jaguars? Texans?
No, it's not that bad. He's got the Rams and the Browns in the Super Bowl, and he has the Browns winning the Super Bowl. Dude, in what fucking universe are they going to beat the Steelers, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Rams? There's no way. I would bet 3 months' salary that absolutely doesn't happen. I don't think either one of those teams goes to the playoffs or to the Super Bowl. That's nuts.
I like the Browns as a potential playoff team.
I like him as a playoff team. Yeah, you're going to go into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs? There's no way.
None of these teams are.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's insane. That's nuts, man. I don't know how you get past.
I mean, come on, guys. Until Tom Brady retires, why would you pick anyone literally other than Tom Brady in the Super Bowl?
Dude, he's on a freaking revenge tour again for no reason at all. He said something recently. He's like, while I'm playing, nobody else is winning a Super Bowl. Nobody else is going to the Super Bowl if I'm playing.
He is at the same level as Jordan, where Jordan.
Oh, absolutely.
Just had to he had to make up reasons to motivate himself. That's what Tom Brady's doing right now.
I've only heard 3 people in my lifetime athletes do that. 2 were basketball. It's Tom Brady now, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was just unreal about, I don't go out, I don't party, I practice, and I play basketball. Okay, well. But we've gone completely off the rails. We just wanted to bring an entertaining show. Kyle, your prediction was you gave us a defensive touchdown.
Yes.
Jake says, was that 20? I saw 27-17 somewhere in there. Yeah, Jake says 27-17 Vikings. I'm going to go 30-24 Vikings. I think they can beat the Bengals. They're favored to win. I don't like when the Vikings are favored in anything, but I think this team's ready to come out and shut some people up, and I think this is how you start.
We got to start strong because this is a tough
schedule.
Absolutely. So if I don't believe that they will start strong, there is no chance in hell. So as a Vikings fan, I have to believe they're going to start strong on this one. Make a statement.
We'll be back next week, guys.
Same bat time.
Same bat time, same bat channel. And we want to throw this reminder up. I actually got the reminder today for the Survival League, so you guys should check that out. I'm going to put it up here in all capital letters. But I got the reminder today to make my picks, and I went tomorrow night. I'm picking the Bucs to absolutely murder the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see how that doesn't happen. You'll get to pick a team every week. If you're not familiar, it's on our Facebook page. You should guys go check that out. It's going to be here, YouTube and Facebook /PurplePeoplePodcast. Go check that out. Go find the Survival League, and you can enter in. Doesn't cost anything, but the way it works, if you're unfamiliar, is you pick a team that week. Like this week, I picked the Bucks. For the rest of the season, I can't pick the Bucks. So I was going to give you guys my strategy on it, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just say that once you pick a team, you can't really change it after that. So win or lose, you got to predict for that game in particular, like the best matchup. So I almost gave my strategy away again. This is what you do. You'll get to get free swag from us is what I was trying to get at. I was stalling there thinking about it ahead of time, but I'll send you some cool stuff. These guys might chip in. It's absolutely free. And the only way you hear about it is from the show. So if you want to win free Viking stuff, particularly, I'm going to buy the winner something from Kyle West's website here.
Hey,
Redbubble. I'll get you a Purple People Podcast hoodie, shirt, long sleeve thing, tank top, whatever it is that you want in your color and size on the house if you win. So
that is
get on over to the Facebook page.
That is award-winning photographer.
He's got some really good stuff.
Well, thank you.
I know I hype you up because you're my friend, but I like talented people. I like what Adam does writing. I like that he puts his passion into zombies and football, and I like the fact that you do the football stuff with us, but you go out and shoot your little small town. I think it's so cool that there's so many image-worthy things in your town, man. Because you always tell us you come from a really small town, like in the middle of nowhere, but there's a lot of cool stuff that you've captured.
Yeah. I need to update it. I need to get more stuff on there, but,
Do it. Skull to Jake and Skull Jonathan for you guys for chiming in. We really appreciate you all. And go check out Kyle West stuff if you want to check out Adam Carlson stuff, even though he's not here. VikingAge.com. He's a writer there. If you interact and comment under the articles that he writes, his numbers go up and he gets paid more. You should do that. We were actually streaming on his Twitch today, so hopefully that gets some more ratings and numbers there. And if you're a Walking Dead fan, he writes for Undead Walking as well. You can get a lot of spoilers there, and I think he does stuff for the spinoff too. I forget the name of it, but he does a lot of good work there. You should check it out. Support us. Pay our bills if you want. That's all I got, man. You got anything else?
No, that'll do it.
Thank you all for listening to the Kyle and Kyle Show. We will be back after this. Let's get the win. That's right, Jonathan. Hopefully they pull one out, man.
For the win.
FTW, baby. For the brand, too. Yeah, hopefully they pull it out. We'll be back next week. Hopefully.
Eat the W like Jameis Winston. Do it.
Please don't. You can do that. I'm not going to do that.
I have COVID. I'm not putting my fingers in my mouth.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Stay classy, Minnesota.